Hello everybody, happy Friday afternoon, hope yours is going well, and today we have another Seahawks video to get to, but first, we just, and I do mean just, like 3 or 4 minutes ago, hit 1,530 subscribers to the YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers, old and new. If you guys were not watching my videos, I would not be making them. Let's keep on pushing the number up. Once again, we are going to be doing a call-in live stream probably sometime tonight in order to celebrate getting to 1,500 a couple days ago, so keep an eye out for that. And I also want to give a shout out to the channel members, Jason Baker, Hillel, Eiferman, Anton, HaWKxXAsYLuM, Ryguy, Rip, and Carson. They are our 7 first members to the channel. You can become a member down below by clicking the join button. Please like the video and subscribe if you like the content. And today we have to talk about the upcoming slate of NFL games because people liked it when I made this video. I didn't expect it, but people liked it when I made this video, basically going through the slate of games on Sunday and Monday and determining who we as Seahawks fans should be rooting for. Now, we've already had one game this week. The Eagles played the Giants on Thursday Night Football, and who we wanted to win that game was very much debatable and very much hard to determine. It was kind of one of those games where the loser would become a trade deadline seller and the winner may very well become a buyer. So I kind of wanted the Giants to win for that reason because the Eagles had more pieces that I was interested in. Now the Eagles are first place in their division, so they can't really become sellers, but it was very close either way. Now the Giants are definitively sellers in all likelihood, so we're going to keep an eye on players that we might want from the Giants because at this point they have to know that their season is toast even in that weak division. Now, let's move on to the things we can actually root for or root against on Sunday. So first we have our game, the Seahawks at Cardinals, and if you really think about it, you probably want the Cardinals to win this game because I don't think the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs, so we actually want their draft pick to be a little bit... Okay, yeah, okay, seriously though, we all know who we're rooting for in that one. We're going to move right on from that one. Rooting for the Seahawks to win, move to 6-0, push the Cardinals down to 4-3. Okay. Now we get to more interesting stuff. So, Lions at Falcons. So, the Lions have now won a couple games. They're not playing terribly. They really probably should have beaten the Bears in week 1. So, that is not a team that is playing terribly right now. They've beaten the Cardinals, who are a decent team. So, it seems likely that the Lions have their stuff together a little bit. And then we have this Falcons team that has to be feeling kind of good about themselves because they just blew out the Vikings. They just kind of sort of looked like a different team now that they have their new coaching staff and new GM. They looked like they took some steps in the right direction. Now, they're in a competitive division, so it's very unlikely they can claw back in at this point no matter what. But just to bury them a little further, I'm going to say we should probably be rooting for the Lions to move to 500. And it takes the Lions out of any, trade deadline seller sweepstakes in all likelihood, but it pushes the Falcons into a position where they are going to have no choice but to say we need to start trading some players. So, rooting for the Lions. Next up, we have Browns at Bengals. Kind of the same thing here. If the Bengals win, they might be feeling pretty good about themselves. They might start thinking like, hey, we're not going to make the playoffs because of our division, but maybe we can put together a decent season and build some momentum for next year. If they lose, however, it's going to be looking pretty bad. It's going to be 1-5-1. It's just the stars are not aligned for them to even put together a decent season this year. So the guys on their team like A.J. Green, Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins, you got to believe that if they go to 1-5-1, they're going to finally start saying, hey, we need to start trading these guys. We need to start getting some assets. So we're rooting for the Browns. Steelers at Titans, no preference. This game has no impact on the Seahawks whatsoever. I don't even think teams in our division play these teams. No, they don't. They definitely don't. So no preference here at all on who wins. Whoever wins, a undefeated team falls. So no preference. Panthers at Saints. Panthers at Saints. I think we're probably rooting for the Panthers here. Panthers are playing good football. They're doing some things very well. I just don't really believe in that team right now. I just don't. I don't think they have the upside. I'm not high on the Saints either. I want to be clear. And whoever wins here, there's some upside for the Seahawks. Like, this is either way, something good has happened for the Seahawks in my estimation, but I think we're rooting for the Panthers here. I think the Saints have a slightly higher ceiling, and I think the Panthers are more likely to be a team that fades as the season goes on. So any wins they can bank now will probably end up not meaning much, whereas for a team like the Saints, losses they bank now really could matter. So I think we're rooting for the Panthers here, but either way, something good, something bad, really. All right, Bills at Jets. The Jets have already started fire selling. We know that. They traded a couple of their defensive pieces to the Bucks and Niners. So we already know they're in fire sale mode. They're looking apparently to potentially trade Quinnen Williams, which, by the way, John Schneider, melt that phone line calling up the Jets right now. Melt that phone line calling up the Jets, because if they're going to trade Quinnen Williams for a reported second-round pick, I would jump all over that in a heartbeat. So we're going to be rooting for the Bills this weekend. I don't think we're going to have to really root for anything. The Jets are probably not going to win a game this year, but the more the Jets lose, the worse the Jets look, the more likely they're going to be willing to trade their decent pieces, and the more likely the Seahawks can stand to benefit from that. So I say we root for the Bills. It probably doesn't matter that much. Even if the Jets somehow win this game, they're still going to be in fire sale mode. All right. Cowboys at Washington. This is another interesting one for the Seahawks and who to root for. Cowboys have technically had a slightly better season so far, 2-4. Washington is 1-5. Whoever wins this game is probably going to feel like they have a chance in that division, because they're only going to be either half a game back or half a game ahead. But whoever if the Cowboys lose, they're not necessarily going to feel like they need to give up, even if they get blown out, because at 2-5, they'll only be half a game back, as sad as that is. And if you're the Cowboys, you lose this game, you go to 2-5, you're still going to be thinking, well, we're going to get some players back eventually. Dalton's going to play better as the season goes on, hopefully. So there's no real scenario where the Cowboys lose this game and go, well, it's time to just start selling our veterans. There's no scenario where they lose this game and go, okay, let's get what we can for, I don't know, a guy like Sean Lee. I don't even know who their capable veterans that they would trade are at this point. It's kind of a mess over there in Dallas right now. But if Washington loses at 1-6, they have to be kind of resigning themselves to, hey, we lost head-to-head to the Cowboys, the Giants. We did beat the Eagles, but at 1-6, I think Washington will be committed to fire sale mode if they lose. So we're going to root for the Cowboys here, I think. It just stands to benefit. You could make an argument that the Cowboys will go into fire sale mode if they drop this game, but I don't think they will. Washington is a different story. So I'm going to say we want the Cowboys to win just for that fire sale factor. Okay, we're moving on to the Packers at Texans now. Obviously, we are rooting for the Texans to pull off a non-trivial upset and beat the Packers, put them another game behind. However, if the Texans lose, it's not all bad, and I think we can reasonably expect the Texans to lose, but if the Texans do lose, that puts them further into territory of we need to fire sale even more. I know a lot of people on this channel want the Seahawks to trade for J.J. Watt. That becomes far more likely if the Texans lose. So we're still rooting for the Texans. We want the Packers to take that L. That the clear-cut, clear as day rooting for the Texans. But not all bad if the Texans lose, which I fully expect them to do, because that's what they've been doing all year. All right, Buccaneers at Raiders. This game might get delayed. We don't know what's going on yet. Rooting for the Raiders in this game seems like a lost cause, because if they play this game, their entire offensive line is going to be out, it looks like. So, yeah, we all saw what the Buccaneers pass rush just did to Aaron Rodgers. That's a recipe for Derek Carr to have some very bad things happen to him, but obviously we are rooting for the Raiders to take care of the Buccaneers, push them down another L, get to 4-3, and get them behind the 8 ball before the second half of the season even starts. So very much rooting for the Raiders here. Honestly, at this point, hopefully they delay the game so their offensive line can play, because if their offensive line plays, they at least have a shot. All right, Chiefs at Broncos. I'm going to say we're rooting for the Chiefs here, because the Broncos have now peeled off a couple dubs in a row, but they are still a very bad team. And if they get on a 3-game winning streak, and if they actually pull off this game against Kansas City, they might start feeling okay about themselves to the point where they don't need to fire sale. But I will continue to root for fire sales all across the league. So if the Broncos lose this game, they're going to be 2-4 with 2 very deceiving wins. They beat the Jets, who are the worst team in the league. They beat the Patriots with no practice. Let's push them to 2-4, in my opinion. Let's get the Chiefs to 6-1. I know we don't necessarily love that, but it doesn't affect the Seahawks at all, really. Let's just get the Broncos to 2-4 and get them closer and closer to the point where they decide they need to start trading their veterans. All right, we're almost done. 49ers at Patriots. This is self-explanatory. Rooting for the Patriots. If the Niners lose this game, by the way, which they are currently favored to do, they are currently favored to lose. The line is New England winning by 2. If the Patriots win, the 49ers are going to have 4 losses. So if you take a look at the Seahawks and what I think every fan expects them to do this year, we're expecting right now this team to go about 13-3. So it puts them in such a bad position, the 49ers. It becomes almost impossible to imagine that they can come back in this division and actually jump ahead of the Seahawks. So this is a big one. We're obviously rooting for the Patriots. And if the 49ers lose, you can start crossing them off for winning this division in 2020, because they'd have to win out just to give themselves a chance. And if you looked at that 49ers schedule, I don't think they're winning out. All right, last Sunday game we're going to look at, Jacksonville at San Diego. I've already gone over my reasons why San Diego is not going to fire sale no matter what, probably. You might be able to get a couple of pieces off of them, but not the big ones, not the really good ones, because I think San Diego's loading up for 2021. So even if they lose this game, I'm going to say they're not going to trade anybody. Maybe somebody like Desmond King, but that's it. Jacksonville, on the other hand, is already pretty much in fire sale mode, and another loss just pushes them further into that category. So I say we root for the Chargers to get this dub. Let's push the Jacksonville Jaguars to 1-6 and let them know that it's clearly time for them to start shedding some of their veterans. Final game, this one is easy, easy, easy. We got the Bears at the Rams, obviously rooting for the Bears to get the win on the road. Some real potential here for an interesting game. I might even live stream this, we'll see. But if the Bears can find a way to win this game, the Rams are going to be in a hole that is tough for them to dig out of. They'll already be at 3 losses. With the way the Seahawks are playing, a lot of people, including myself, are expecting the Seahawks to go about 13-3 this year. So the hole becomes, the margin for error for the Rams to actually win the division becomes very small. Now, if the Bears lose, that's not the worst thing in the world. The Bears are a team that could be competing with the Seahawks for seeding at some point if you look at the way they're playing. However, I think our rooting interest here is clear, and that's going to get us to the end of the slate. So that's who I'm rooting for in week number 6, or week number 7, actually, excuse me. You may disagree on a couple of them, but I think these are our best interests of rooting. All right. Peace out. Go Hawks. Call in live stream later. I'll say it again. Come out. Let's have some fun. Let's take some call-ins. We're going to celebrate getting to 1,500 subs. Dragon Quest streaming a little bit as well. Come out. We'll have fun there as well. I know people are working right now, but I'm not today, so we're going to have fun. And, yeah, that's what I got. Peace out. Go Hawks.